Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, friends. It's time for some Saturday morning React-TOONS featuring Robotech, specifically episode 51, Clone Chamber. I think it's time we learn a little bit more about those, don't you? Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and it allows me to alert you next time it's time for some Saturday morning React-TOONS. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. But my dear friends, all that's then and this is now, and now it's time to journey back down into the dirt with the 15th as we watch Robotech, episode 51, Clone Chamber. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And away we go! Fanfare and scene. I apologize. Everybody out there that's rolling your eyes, know that I am too. Okay, laugh at me, not with me on this one. Oh, what I wouldn't give for a DeLorean, just to go back in time and tell myself a mere couple months ago, whatever you do, don't start the effing fanfare thing. Hair flip with Lisa? Okay. Fanfare? No. It's a series of cringe that you will not be able to climb out of. Oh well, here we are, friends. Know this. In the last episode of Robotech, I'm going full bore nuclear option with fanfare. I might have a live orchestra.
The desperate frontal assault on the Robotech masters, ordered by Supreme Commander Leonard against strong opposition, proved to be a disaster.
Shocker.
The discovery of the Invid Flower of Light within the ruins of the SDF-1.
That's what I was thinking that was from Sentinels.
They know the flower is the first sign of the coming Invid invasion. They are being kept apprised of what is happening on Earth.
By Zor.
Update from the first attack wing. The survivors of our bioengineering...
51 episodes. Wow.
We're doing the best we can in what remains...
Wow.
So I'm requesting permission to bring the worst cases back to Earth for treatment. Lieutenant Marie Crystal, over and out.
I wonder if Marie's... Sounds like she's at least one of the people in charge up there.
Well, General Emerson, it would appear that our little assault operation was not a complete failure after all, eh?
Turn the Alu station into a base for military operations?
Yes, that's my plan. And I see nothing wrong with it.
'Cause you're an idiot.
I see. In that way, we'd be essentially outflanking the enemy's fleet, right, sir?
Yes, precisely.
And splitting our forces.
Your attitude borders on being treasonous, General. Mobilize the second assault wave and prepare them to relieve our forces on Moonbase Alice.
Leonard's acting with the treason. I mean, I'm sorry. I know he's being forced into it by the higher-ups, but they also deferred to him. They didn't say you had to do it. I went back and checked that shit.
You've been behaving mighty suspicious, buddy, and I want to know just what you're up to.
Oh, Zor, there you are. Hey, I've been looking for you everywhere.
Dana,
Just a minute, Lieutenant.
Yeah, Dana, you're going to have to listen to Angelo here.
But somebody had to check this guy out. He was acting suspicious, you know?
Zor is suffering from severe memory loss, and if he behaves a little funny sometimes, or even suspiciously, what he needs from us is a bit of compassion.
Love Angelo. Didn't like him at first, and now I see myself in him.
And it won't cost you anything. I got the tickets. As a matter of fact, they were pretty expensive.
Well, let's talk about the price of things before we do them.
Their cerebral composition makes them undependable. They perform adequately as shock troops, but in order to prepare for the Invid, we'll need units much more closely tied to the triumvirate.
Interesting.
That might explain our problems with Zor Prime. We've had some trouble with him, his neurosensor. It's been malfunctioning.
It's fighting?
Known as emotions may be responsible for the malfunction. Yes, these emotions destabilize the brain's functions.
That's the first trio I've seen where they don't look almost exactly alike.
Maybe something traditional. Bowie?
What? Oh, wow. Well, it's,
Bowie's like, I should have crept out of here moments ago.
Oh, Bowie. Can't
No,
you see I'm about to get dressed? Were you planning to stand there all night? Come on, get out.
He might have to tell you something.
It's a real pity. I bet if he'd seen you in that getup, he'd have never gone and asked Nova out tonight.
He's with Nova?
Oh, shit.
He couldn't have done that to me, Angelo. We had a date for tonight.
Hey, don't go biting my head off. It ain't my fault.
Right.
I swear, I'll never be able to trust an android again.
An android? That's the first time I've heard them. I thought they thought he was human, right?
Thanks, ma'am, but I think I'll just pass, okay?
You don't understand. I'm giving you an order.
Ordering me?
You certainly cannot do that. Angie's like, this is outside of my theater of operations. This is not.
Synergetic reservoirs of protoculture are running dry. The effects of the deficiency can be seen everywhere.
They're just not allowed to make as many. The clones aren't coming out like up to their standards.
Our weapon and defense systems are a constant drain on our reserves, and the protoculture fabricators have grown increasingly inefficient.
Okay.
No, it is not our place to decide how things must be. Yes, it has been decided for us.
Sounds like Max.
I know they are supposed to be completely alien to our race, but I am guilty of emotions. Isn't that what the human beings call it?
Is Musica thinking about Bowie? I hope. Bowie needs a win. If you start crying, they're all going to explode.
Oh, if this is a sickness, I know who is responsible for infecting me with it. It's Bowie.
It's a cool contraption, the light harp, where you basically interrupt the light. It seems like that's how they're making the music. You interrupt the light.
Bowie.
It's a cool little interlude. Gives us some good backstory on like the triads and stuff inside the Masters. Jesus, Angie.
Boy, this is too much. Look at them.
Oh, be quiet. Okay, so maybe it's not a work of art. Shut up, will you, Angelo?
Oh no, they're going at it again.
Jesus, Angie. So is this a date or?
Promise not a word of this to Dana. She has the worst temper I've ever seen. Oh, did I say that? Oh, it must be the wine. Excuse me.
It's the wine talking, Nova.
That her beloved 15th Squadron's been left out of another major operation. That girl's gonna absolutely blow her top.
Why does Nova sound different?
Just who the heck do you think you are, you double-dealing android? What do you mean by dumping me and taking out someone like her?
Wait a minute, Dana. I don't like the sound of that someone like her.
You're not supposed to like it, you tramp. It was an insult.
Damn!
Huh? I'm sorry. I don't feel well.
All of this spying is making me constipated.
Relief force has just taken off for the moon.
Message received.
The moon. Why did she say it like that?
Orbital ascent has been achieved. You may fire rockets.
What are they dragging up there? Another ship? It's like literally been christened.
Home. To be on Earth again. To be with Sean again.
Really? She's actually thinking about Sean.
I don't mean to be disobedient. Really, I don't.
But in fact, you are being disobedient, Musica. There's no escaping that.
Oh, sure. I mean, come on now.
You must realize that the continued survival of your own people hangs in the balance.
So they're doing like forced pairing because they can't create more clones. They're gonna have to. Is that what they're? I mean, I'm assuming that this is like a breeding thing.
Has she ceased to exist?
No, she has fallen into what the humans call a fate.
Huh? Lieutenant, enemy ship spotted at Mark 7.
Oh boy. Oh my God, they're just tearing through us.
Close off this area! Hurry!
Oh my God.
We've lost number 3, sir.
How could this have happened? They were waiting as if they knew we were coming. Scrabble the Ajax choppers!
I mean, I'm not trying to be flippant. It doesn't really matter though. I mean, we haven't scored any type of victories against them. I mean, a couple like stalemates basically when that one ship went down, but that's...
Lieutenant Crystal, I'm breaking radio silence to request your immediate assistance. Lieutenant, we're under heavy attack. We urgently need your immediate support or we'll be finished.
She's literally bringing wounded to you, dude. I mean...
It happened too fast. How did the enemy find out that the relief fleet was on its way?
I mean, Marie is like doing it all. Coordinating like rendezvous, commanding her side of the fleet, and now flying.
Insane! Lieutenant Lucas, this is Warmaker 7. We're hopelessly outnumbered by these Bioroid hovercraft. I've lost half my attack wing already. I respectfully suggest...
Oh boy.
Oh no!
Lieutenant Lucas!
Woo, cool shot.
Is that you?
Looks like this time the settlers have come to rescue the cavalry.
Cool line. I do like these Ajax choppers, or, triple changers, whatever they're.
Lieutenant Lucas, now's your chance. Get to Alice 1 quickly.
I wasn't a fan of her original craft, that kind of like snub-nosed Veritech.
We'll keep the buzzards pinned down. Now get moving.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I just wasn't.
Cavalry squadron, disengage.
There's like one guy left.
They're heading after him. Let's see what we can do about that.
This has probably been the most graphic episode we've had in a while, with like people, like we got personnel dying on the ships. We've seen like obliteration of bioroids and stuff.
Let's get out of here.
God, y'all need to fall back. Ooh.
You let them escape?
That wasn't a capital ship, but I mean, it's a frigate of some kind.
Taking Musica as an example, we are seeing an upsurge in emotionality and counterproductive behavior similar to what happened to the Zentradi when they tried to recover the protoculture.
Cool. I was wondering if they're going to tie that in.
Lieutenant Crystal, I gather it's largely due to your intervention that Cavalry 1 made it safely to the moon. Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah, half of them did.
Oh, Sean.
Darling, I thought maybe we'd lost you.
Really?
Oh, Sean, I didn't know if you cared.
I'm yours, Marie.
Really?
I'll bet all his girlfriends get the same line.
Right.
Here on Earth, we will simultaneously begin preparations for our second offensive against the enemy fleet. And General Emerson, I have a surprise for you.
You're going to lead it.
Hey, have you heard?
Huh?
Louis, calm down. What is it?
It's unbelievable is what it is.
Louis?
It's most curious.
Spit it out.
Louis.
The commander of the second offensive has just been appointed.
Yeah, so what? Who is it?
Well, you see, it's very odd.
For God's sakes.
Well, they've appointed General Emerson.
Huh?
What? General Emerson?
Yep, sending him in there.
They've appointed the chief of staff, his own godfather, to lead this dangerous offensive. It's unbelievable.
Cool fade to the drawing. Neat. All right, everybody, we just got done watching the 51st episode of Robotech entitled Clone Chamber, and the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everyone, we just got done watching Clone Chamber, the 51st episode of Robotech. Okay, so this one was a really, like I said it during the reaction, I thought that this one was more graphic than we've seen in a while. Now, with Robotech, you're always like prepared and ready, or at least I am. I mean, ever since, the Macross saga, you're going to see people die. You're going to see, and especially people in the background and the periphery die. And of course, your named people are never safe. But in this instance, we saw quite a bit of it, explosions aboard the ships that were part of both the offensive and falling back, and, just absolutely getting wrecked, and just, seeing like, decompression of their hull, and people getting like, obliterated and streaked by explosions. It's been a while since we've seen like that much of it, you know what I mean? And that kind of I guess more of a concentration of it than we normally see. A couple of advancements of things here. This is the first episode, too, where I've had a couple anomalies pop up. And help me out, friends, because I'll miss stuff. Like, they'll mention something, and then for whatever reason, like, they'll kind of, like, update something, a bit of information, and I kind of default to what we kind of originally learned about it, which is, hasn't really happened to me since Macross. So this is the first time I've had it with Southern Cross here with the Master Saga. But all of a sudden now they're calling Zor an android. And I thought for sure that their whole thing was he was a captured human that had been brainwashed. And now Dana referred to him twice as an android. I'm assuming that's sort of like an anomaly. Like, I don't know. But did I miss something there as far as like their kind of categorization of Zor? It certainly looked like, even up until the last, they're getting your memory back and blah, blah, blah. They just weren't talking unless it was like and again, I miss these things too, that she's calling him an android as like a derogatory term. Like, you're just a robot, you don't have feelings or something like that. I don't know. Help me out there. I'm a little confused by that one. The other thing that they advanced that, again, this could be something that I just missed or I didn't realize that they were just going to take it there was the Marie and Sean thing. Like all of a sudden, Marie has gone from basically like just being pissed at Sean and Dana and everybody, to like, oh, Sean, I didn't know that you cared. Well, first off, in Sean's defense, he's a hound dog, so he has a terrible reputation. Secondly, he did show up at the hospital like every day. You were the one that like literally laid in bed and didn't let him in when you heard that he was having problems getting like past the nurse, and then as soon as he did get in, you were like, oh, couldn't you find any other nurses to flirt with? Like just giving him like a ton of shit. It's surprising that Sean, who doesn't necessarily, obviously by his own kind of, reputation and his actions, doesn't seem like somebody that would like stick around for somebody like, oh, okay, so Marie's definitely off the table for potential girlfriend material. I might as well just move on to greener pastures. That seems to be more of what Sean Phillips would do, but it seems like Sean actually does care for Marie, and I guess his persistence paid off, and that he was finally able to let her realize that. So I'm assuming that kind of after this moment of mania and the fighting and kind of a brush with death type of stuff, that she's kind of come to the realization now that Sean actually is in it to win it, so to speak. His commitment is apparent, and I guess she's kind of accepted, kind of macheted through the forest of reputation that Sean has until she's found him. I guess that's what I'm taking from it. So, the thing with Emerson too, where Leonard is going to put Emerson, yeah, I mean, Emerson is the voice of dissent. He is the only one that is really kind of like outwardly, publicly questioning Leonard's motivations here, and kind of reminding this idiot that he hasn't done anything right yet, and he's basically committing more soldiers and troops to death with this continued sort of like split offensive and not really thinking it through. And we talked about this too, that yes, the masters have been aggressive. My whole thing is, I always kind of use this as a parallel with the Zentradi, that, yes, the Zentradi showed up, they attacked, but we were able to kind of work it out. The masters did attack. That's absolutely right. I always often forget that Space Station Liberty was kind of severed and, split off. That was an attack by the masters initially. And so, there was a provocation there. My whole thing is that I do think, and I still very much believe that, I do think that diplomacy could win the day eventually, just because I think the masters are in such a painted in corner now that they have to have protoculture to continue basically their defenses and their kind of, ramping up of their military arsenal, including, I guess, these clones and everything now that they can't really make anymore. For the Invid, they're terrified of the Invid, which is awesome because having the masters terrified of the Invid is something that I dig, because it really kind of puts a specter over the Invid. I've had a brush with the Invid with the Sentinels, and they were very, very difficult to fight, and I never saw like Earth Defense Forces against them. I just saw a smattering of like those two guys that were holding out on the one planet against certain elements of the Invid, not even like their big. I think we had one mech fight in that, like where they had to take one of the. I don't even know what the Invids are. I don't even think they are mechs. I think it's not like it doesn't matter. I'll learn that. But my point being that, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of situation. And I just think that the masters are very arrogant. They think humanity is nothing. We don't have to worry about them. They haven't been given much pause to worry about us either, because, they've just been wrecking our asses whenever we go up there under Leonard's orders, and so we haven't really given them reason to respect us yet, I guess. And with the idea that there are some people in there, again, this is my long-winded way of saying Emerson is that lone voice of dissent for Leonard that is saying, maybe diplomacy, maybe we can reach out, maybe that we can get something worked out. And Leonard doesn't want to hear any of that. He wants to be in charge. He wants to, commit. For some reason, he continues to think that, and we know narratively why he's doing this. He has to keep the tension up in the show. So the character of Leonard is very one-dimensional in that kind of bloodthirsty, just singular focus, but he has to be. He has to be, or we don't have a show. We can still hate the character, though, and we can still question his motivations, even though we know why narratively it's going on. We can question why Leonard is doing these things. And, yes, I went back and looked at the beginning of the season whenever I was actually doing some edits for something else. And I saw where, when I was looking at it, that basically whoever, like the Supreme Council, whatever they were called, came forward and said, hey, we want something done. We would like to see an attack against them, but there was a measure of, we'll do whatever you think is best. So it wasn't like they were absolutely demanding that Leonard go up there and do that. They are saying, we would like to see us, retaliate, but whatever you think is best. And Leonard just took that and ran. He took that and ran like, well, I think what is best is, just throwing our soldiers into a meat grinder. And that's won the day here for a while. And now with Emerson being that voice of dissent, he is going to be leading this doomed attack, against, which all of them are doomed. Emerson's a great commander, I would assume. However, you're going to be up there against all odds doing the same thing that got all these other, troops killed. You're going to be up there in that same position with the same armaments going up against the same enemy. And you can't expect there to be a different resolution to that. You can't expect there to be a different outcome when the same variables are still constant in play. So in many respects, this is the first time, Leonard naming Emerson the commander of this second assault is very telling for me about the character of Leonard, because that means that deep down, there's no other really way to do this. Deep down, Leonard knows that he's doing the wrong thing. Leonard knows that he's committing troops to die. Otherwise, why do you send your adversary up there to lead it? Okay, if you think it's going to be a success, like you're claiming it's going to be, then you're putting one of your rivals in a position to grab the laurels from that. Oh my gosh, under the command of General Emerson, they were able to beat back the Robotech masters. You don't want to give them that type of political or military clout. You don't want to give them that. However, if you think that this mission is doomed to failure, and by appointing this person as the commander of this doomed expedition, you're getting them off the table. So that's weird. It's weird to me that, it's almost like Leonard knows, I'm not right about this, but F it. I'm willing to kill all these people, lose all of this equipment just to get at Emerson, which is, diabolical to say the least. I'll end with this too. Dana was kind of in the periphery in this one too. I liked her stuff with Angie, even though that got a little irritating in the theater. Nova is being played at, first off, her voice sounded different in this one too, or maybe it's just because I haven't heard Nova kind of string multiple sentences together. I don't like the way too where they're basically saying, oh, well, the 15th isn't going into another major conflict again. First off, they're a ground-based unit, so they're not really going to be doing that shit. But again, I digress. Dana and everybody, the 15th has been out of the action for a bit, and we've seen how that's gone. I'm hoping and I'm thinking that what's going to end up happening is Emerson's going to take them with him. Bowie's going to probably demand it because that's his godfather or however they, foster father, who's he was left in charge of him whenever everybody else took off. Good stuff, though. This was a lot of information being dumped in here. Like I said, if someone could help me out with the Android thing, I'm assuming that that's just one of those Robotech anomaly type stuff. But if there's something I missed, I really would like to know that. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel, allows me to alert you next time we go live with Saturday morning React-TOONS. And of course, if you need anything else, something early or something in its full-length format, the link to the Patreon's in the description. All that's then, this is now though, and now it's time to say goodbye. So where should we say goodbye from? Well, I say we say goodbye from the restaurant, right? I say we say goodbye watching Nova and Zor in their whatever this is, because we're not really sure what Zor has planned here or what his kind of addled mind is thinking when it comes to between Dana and Nova, or where he even is. So our job now as the friends is to, we're going to be eavesdroppers a bit. We're going to observe. We need to observe Zor. see what he's doing, because Angie might be onto something. Why is he hanging around these places? Maybe the old non-com's got something to tell us, and maybe we should pay more attention to him and see exactly what the Zor is up to. So jump behind your menus or cut little holes in it so we can peer out, and we're going to spy a bit. Until such time as we get back together to see what this show does, Vulcan roll, my friends, and I'll see you.